This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. We're live from Kelly's Furniture and Carpet One this morning, which means we're in the kitchen and it's time for our cooking segment. And once again, we have Alana Preussner here this morning, and you're going to show us how to make cream puffs.
Absolutely. Cream puffs are a wonderful addition as dessert for most meals. And the really great thing about them is they are totally dead simple to make.
Which I'm really surprised and excited at the same time, because I've always had the frozen kind that you thaw out.
I know, the frozen
and now
kind
you
are
can make
fine.
them at home and they can be fresh.
You can make them from scratch, and frankly, they are so easy, it's almost kind of embarrassing. But you can tell people that it's
worked all day.
pastry.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, manufacture a little sweat. Do
There
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so very easy recipe. I guess since I'm an English teacher, I like to think of both simple and easy things. You can say, well, a haiku is simple, but it's not necessarily easy.
Right.
Well, this is both simple and easy.
Nice.
Good, right. So, very easy recipe, and it's easy to remember. What I've got in the pan here is a cup of water and a stick of butter, which
Okay.
sounds weird. You bring it to a boil, full
like that.
rolling boil. And then what we're going to do is dump in a cup of flour.
Okay.
It's just regular all-purpose flour, not pastry flour.
Okay.
And then we're going to mix like crazy.
Do you still want it to boil?
Yeah, you can turn that down a little touch, just 1 or 2 clicks. But you see, it forms a ball
Yeah.
like that, okay? You don't want to overdo this, but you keep scraping the pan, and once it forms a ball like that, you take it off the heat
Okay.
and turn it off.
Okay.
All right? And that's cooking things nicely. If you overdo this, it's not going to puff right.
Okay.
So now what we want to do is cool it down a little bit.
Okay.
All right? Because we're going to add the eggs to it. And if we added the eggs right away, we would get
Cooked eggs.
scrambled eggs, right? So what I'm doing is just moving it around a little bit
Okay.
and
And to remind our viewers to take it off.
take it off the heat.
Got it.
Definitely off the heat. Now, if you want to be really fancy about this, you probably could put it in an ice and water bath in your sink.
Okay, to help it
But
cool.
please,
Okay.
we're doing both simple and easy here. Okay, but you see how this holds together?
Right.
And it's kind of changed color.
Right.
I'm going to tilt it just a little bit so
Yeah.
we can see it. There,
And
look
it
at that.
has,
Oh.
it doesn't have any lumps in it. I mean, when I first put that flour in there, it looks sort of like lava.
Right.
With gravel,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
Okay, now what we're going to do is crack 1 egg at a time in there, and you're going to have to stir like crazy.
Okay.
Because it's kind of slimy looking. All right? And you have to really mix it fast and keep mixing, because especially if your pan's still a little bit warm,
You don't want it to cook.
you don't want it to scramble the egg. You want to try one of these, Scott?
Sure.
It takes a little arm action.
Okay.
I'll crack it in there,
All right.
mix away. See what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
You want to
It's-
break up the yolk and then really mix hard to get that all incorporated. And just keep mixing and mixing. It makes a little blobs first, and then it makes bigger blobs.
Huh.
And that's how you know it's working. See how that's changing color now?
Yeah,
And
it's-
it's not shiny any longer.
Yep.
And it's coming together.
It doesn't look slimy anymore, basically.
Yeah, unslimy is what you're looking for.
So how many eggs are you eventually going to
4.
add? 4 altogether?
4
Okay.
altogether. Okay, that's good.
All right.
So let's just keep cracking eggs in here. Whoops, turn that off, please, Scott.
Oh, sure.
I will attempt not to get shell in there, which
We
would
have
add a
about
little extra
minute or
roughage.
so left.
Okay, and then what we're going to do once we get this all mixed up is we're going to drop it onto a baking sheet. So Ella, you want to spray that baking sheet with baking spray? You can drop this from a tablespoon,
Okay.
which is what we're going to do, or you can use the zip top bag trick that I taught you a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sure.
with
Cut
the-
the corner out of the
and pipe
Ziploc
it.
bag and pipe it on.
Pipe
there.
it,
Okay.
yeah. And that way you can make eclairs or you can make cream puffs. It's exactly the same mixture.
Oh, okay.
All right? And
So once we get it on there, do we stick it in the oven then?
put it in the oven at 400 degrees.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to let it bake for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
That makes the puffs. And then you crank the temperature down to 350, and you do it for 30, 40 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
And that's what's going to cook them inside.
So you obviously don't want to take too much because they
Right.
actually end up expanding and
Right.
Okay.
And you space them evenly. I'm making these look kind of rough on the baking sheet. And by the way, as Julia Child always said, I'm using my impeccably clean fingers
Right.
to do this. In your own kitchen, who's going to know? Make
That's
sure you
right.
wash your hands first.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm spacing them so they don't crunch up against each other.
Okay.
And basically, that's all there is to it.
And then so once you're done putting them all on the cooking sheet, we're going
Right.
to put them into the oven. Yep. Let them bake for about 10 minutes.
And then turn the temperature down
Okay.
to 350. And Bob's your uncle. You've got it made.
There you go. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put these in the oven, and then when we come back, we'll show off the final product. And welcome back. If you are just joining us, we're live from Kelly's Furniture and Carpet One, and we just learned how to make cream puffs. And according to our guest chef this morning, Alana Preussner, it's easy as cake.
Well, or maybe pie, but pie isn't easy. So easy as cream puffs. Basically what we're going to do now, these are all beautifully baked and nice and crispy. I'm filling these with homemade pastry cream, which is basically a cooked custard or pudding, sort of. And you can also fill them with ice cream.
Ooh.
Or you can put whipped cream in them if you would rather. You can also use savory fillings in these. So cream cheese type dippy things that you would have for a party. If you make these really tiny, like a teaspoon at a time when you put them on the baking sheet, they're perfect appetizer size. So it makes a lovely dessert. And you get to tell everybody that you have been in the kitchen for hours, that it has
Baking
been
pastry.
And all you
horrendously
said is
difficult.
a cup of water, a stick or a half a stick of butter.
1 stick of butter,
Bring that to
bring it to a boil,
add
add a cup of flour, mix furiously. Take it off the heat, let it cool slightly, and then you put in 4 eggs, one at a time, mixing them in
That's so
thoroughly.
good.
And then basically you have a lovely dessert that people will think you spent a lot of time on. Actually, these are great to pick up, aren't
Yeah.
they? I think
I'm not messing around with
enough
the fork.
daintiness. Yeah.
and the chocolate filling is to die for.
Isn't that good?
That is
I don't-
delicious.
I think the main thing that you have to remember when eating these, I mean, aside from eating 5 of them in a row and people will think you're piggish, don't inhale so you don't get the
Right.
powdered sugar down your lungs.
So very simple to make, which is amazing because this you can,
Yeah.
like you said, show off at a dinner party, go to a dinner party, and people are going to think that you just spent your whole entire day in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And then, in your spare time, write a haiku. It'll
There
be
you
okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
You're surely welcome.
And what we'll do is we'll post this on our website at heartlandconnection.com. Just click on the Good Morning Heartland Features tab at the top of the homepage. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Ella Soroka.
And I'm Scott Kellum.
And this is Alana. Thanks again for coming on. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you right back here Monday morning at 5:30 a.m.